These are challenging times for human rights.
Armed conflicts, the mass movements of people, and competition for resources have resulted in the worst humanitarian crisis of our lifetime.
Though more people are striving to make their voices heard, states are limiting freedom and curbing human rights, often in the name of safety and protection.
We've seen governments around the world turn a blind eye to war crimes, push through deals that undermine the right to claim asylum, pass laws that violate the right to free expression, incite murder of people accused of using drugs, justify mass surveillance and torture, and extend draconian police powers.
Our human rights are under threat.
Even right here in Australia.
This was not filmed in Guantanamo Bay or North Korea. This was filmed in the Northern Territory, in our own country.
Nearly 3 weeks since Australian immigration officials walked out of Manus Detention Centre and left around 600 men to their own devices.
30 years after the Royal Commission into Aboriginal deaths in custody, things still appear to be going backwards.
When people in Australia think about human rights, they often focus on other countries. But the truth is, human rights abuses occur in all countries, including Australia. And when they occur, they undermine human dignity and diminish the recognition of universal rights.
Growing up in South Africa under apartheid, I saw the darkest side of human nature. I saw what happens when the powerful cast aside fundamental freedoms.
My marriage has only been legally valid in this country since December 2017. In many countries, LGBTQI people are attacked with impunity, tortured, and sometimes executed for who they are. Some are forced to undergo sterilisation. This is not the world we want for our children.
We're seeing the slow erosion of the values that underpin our open, just and democratic society. As an Australian proud of those values, I've grown increasingly uncomfortable with the actions of our leaders. I started to take injustice personally. And as a philanthropist, I resolved to do what I could to help.
For generations, my family has been concerned with social justice. My father was an Amnesty supporter for decades. I remember once a Lithuanian prisoner of conscience actually travelled to Melbourne to thank my father in person for helping to secure his release. It was so moving. My father's action from so far away changed that man's life forever. In my law practice, I see the real impact and trauma resulting from past decisions about Indigenous people's rights. It is critical for future generations that our government and our justice system takes new approaches.
In our lives, we've both encountered people who have deeply moved us. Volunteering as a helper to refugees who have recently arrived in Australia brought home to me how important it is to get involved. No one should ever have to experience the abuse these families have escaped.
In my work, I've been fortunate to travel widely. I've seen firsthand injustices people face and how we have the ability to make a difference. We are fortunate to be in a position to offer a safe haven. We can and should find better ways to do so.
Societies need justice, need human rights. Those human rights must apply to all, irrespective of race, beliefs, gender, nationality or sexuality. Someone must be the guardian of those rights and protect the most vulnerable in our society.
And I'm passionate that our children will grow up in a world where everybody is treated as equal before the law.
I believe it is incumbent upon all of us who have the freedom to speak up or take action to do so on behalf of those who do not. I'm inspired by Margaret Mead's words. A small group of caring, committed people can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has.
I want to protect the rights of Australians and people all around the world. That's why I stand with Amnesty.
They get to the very heart of the social causes that I and my family care about.
They fight to protect people and save lives. By changing law and policy, their work impacts on entire generations. From securing the Convention Against Torture to ending the death penalty in 143 countries.
They show courage as they work to defend human rights in Australia and all over the world.
We want to end the overrepresentation of Indigenous kids in detention.
We want to end our abusive offshore detention and create a welcoming home for people caught in war and conflict.
And we want to protect people at risk, the persecuted, those facing the firing squad, those who suffer at the hands of torturers, and the thousands of people imprisoned for their beliefs.
To achieve these goals, we need you. Use your skills, your experience, your funds, and your leadership to stand up for human rights.
Together, we can make a difference.